Oh, I think OBS was having some issues again with launching the live stream. I think we're doing okay now. So let me check on my signal here real quick, make sure that we're coming through okay, and then we're gonna do some game design. It is Thursday night here in Seattle, and we're gonna work on the Bastion campaign supplement that we'll be publishing after we finish the Eberron adventure that we've been illustrating. So give me a hot second here to, let's see, hop over to my channel, and we'll see if the volume's coming through or not. So mic check, 1 2 3, and we'll see if the volume's coming through or not. So mic check, 1 2 3, and we'll see if the volume's coming through or not. So mic check, sorry about that, guys. You know how I like to do. Let's knock that volume down so it's not invasive anymore. I'm going to grab the link to this, and then we're going to do some fast social posts. Just a shout out to y'all that we're up and running, and then we'll get to live here in a hot minute or two. So, Bastion campaigns, what's that all about? So, the Dungeon Master's Guide 2024 introduced the concept of Bastion, which is a narrative simplification of the Dominion type system from earlier editions of D&D. I talk about that a lot here, but I'm going to try to minimize it today. So, the Bastion system is essentially a sinkhole, a gold sink for characters in D&D 5e24, and in return, as a narrative experience, you get to get magic items, craft equipment, get a selection of potions, a very limited scope of benefits that you get from these bastions. But essentially, it's a sinkhole that, if optimized, actually generates more money than you spend on it. So, you know, it's a narrative system, so there's no real risk or rewards. So, like, there's no chance of failing things, and there's no risk to your character other than potentially having your bastion attacked, which results in you having a facility damaged for a little while, and then on your next turn you can repair it, and everything's going to be running a bastion or a settlement or a guild or a pirate fleet or a Spelljammer ship, framed around the idea of it being a bastion. Bastions have facilities in them, and we've developed a scaling system of ranks 1 to 5 that correspond with your characters gaining levels, like a half-caster, with proficiency bonuses every 4 levels. The Bastion advances every 4 levels with it, just like with the Renown system, the Piety system, and the Strixhaven credit system, college credit system, that you get advancing benefits as your character hits higher levels. You gain more benefits from your guild, your god, or your college, respectively. So the Bastion system was a precursor to that, where we have it organized that you control a larger and larger amount of hirelings and facilities that can produce things or research things, discover things, establish communication with different entities or organizations or settlements. It's a geopolitical system that works like the Renown system, that's attached to an investigation and diplomacy system, so that you can operate at multiple levels in society and geopolitics alongside your character's adventuring. It's a campaign because it can be used as a hub for a West March, where the players, like, you could have a ton of players, but you could also just have like your 3 to 5 players like normal. But instead of them being focused on a specific character going on adventuring, they're focused on the advancement of the bastion, your guild or your settlement or whatever. Your bastion is the core of what you're trying to advance in the campaign, and growing in power, like a pirate fleet, for example. Like, you're the pirate king, like you guys are playing a council of pirates, for instance, and you're trying to advance the military and financial power of your pirate fleet during the course of the campaign. And so the actions that you take and the decisions that you make through the bastion can establish what your adventures will be. There might be 3 or 4 good adventure hooks out there for you to pursue, so you might decide to handle each of them in turn with different characters that are all part of the pirate fleet. So they all go off and do their own quests at the same time. And so for the next 2 months, we're going to cycle through 4 different adventures that resolve the different tasks that were created by the decisions that the players made through the Bastion. Or you could just, this is what the Bastion is doing, and you have one adventuring team inside that Bastion And the DM is resolving a lot of things around you through NPCs in a progressively generated system, where every Bastion turn or week that you issue an order to your Bastion, or multiple orders depending on what rank you have and how invested you are in performing tasks. But you issue all these orders to your hirelings, and the players can choose to resolve as many these orders create complications, and the adventure hooks for the campaign are generated by the complications or resolution of orders that are being issued. So if you issue an order to go invade Timbuktu, and your players don't get directly involved in like extorting Timbuktu with your pirate fleet, you resolve it with an off-screen die roll. It's basically a Bastion ability check to establish trade or to intimidate another settlement. And the results of that die roll is either going to resolve it in favor of what you wanted to do. They've been intimidated. You collect a protection fee from them. Congratulations, you now have that resource for you to spend inside of your Bastion to create things or establish new lines of credit or whatever. Or if you fail, you now have a complication. They are challenging your authority as the Pirate King. So now you can decide to escalate that to become an adventure for your characters, to then go in and reestablish respect from Timbuktu for your fleet of pirate ships. Or you could relegate that task to NPCs if you've got a different quest that you want your characters to go on. Or you could run two different groups of characters, one to take care of the Timbuktu situation, and then on another week we'll deal with the other quests that we have. So you'll do like one quest and then you'll resolve another quest, but they're happening at the same time at different locations. And when they're both completed, they come back together to the Bastion, the pirate fleet. And then you progress the turn. What's the pirate fleet doing next? Well, let's go resolve Singapore, and let's go pick on the Philippines for a while, for instance. So you're just roaming around from island to island. Okay, by the end of the week, you'll get to the Philippines, and you can establish your trade connection with them. Singapore is next, so then we'll move on to there. If complications arise in the Philippines, maybe you have to delay interacting with Singapore, or maybe you could leave a detachment of your ships in the fleet to deal with the Philippines while the rest of you move on to Singapore. And if your characters are involved with what's going on in the Philippines, then you could have another group that goes on to deal with what's in Singapore, for instance. So just throwing out names there. But that's like one like super small example. You could build an entire Westmarch style progressive campaign where every Bastion turn where you decide to allocate resources to perform different tasks in a geopolitical arena, these create these natural friction points that your characters can get involved in, or by panning out from individual characters, look at what can your organization do and how can I allocate resources to resolve this complication that arose, and send NPCs off to deal with it as basically a skill challenge that doesn't, like, this entire adventure could be dissolved down into an NPC skill challenge. Roll your check. So everyone on the team makes an ability check using different resources inside of the Bastion to resolve that task without actually having to zoom in at the character level to run through a building and smash goblins or whatever. Or you could decide this task sounds like it's fun. Let's intentionally zoom in with our characters so that we can bash the skull of these goblins. That sounds like fun. So that's how you can build your campaign in a sort of hex crawly / job boards / progressive generation random system to create an entire campaign for level 1 to 20 of you growing your Bastion's power. And then, or you could build it so that you're running a single group of characters from level 1 to 20, and as your characters gain levels, the Bastion continues to grow in power alongside with their proficiency bonus gains every 4 levels. So eventually, as your characters evolve from 1st to 20th level, your little barista shop that you had in Waterdeep has now become interdimensional Starbucks. And like, you are the go-to source for coffee in the multiverse, and the devils are angry about that because you've taken caffeine from them or whatever. And then you can have these like super high-level conflicts, like Descent into Avernus type stuff that happens as a result of you meddling with these super high-level powers at like level 17 plus. That's the idea that goes into it. So that's my rant. That intro lasted longer than I expected it to, but that's what we're going to be talking about on this stream. So if you think that kind of stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. Here's a bunch of books that I've already created that are on the DMsGuild. They all have 100% free preview, so you can look at the kind of ideas that I create and supplements and all the artwork that I put into them. Monday through Friday in the morning, we do artwork for our books. On Mondays and Thursday nights like this, and Tuesday and Fridays, like at lunch tomorrow, we do game design for upcoming supplements that we will be publishing. And right now, I'm focusing specifically on 5th edition because I'm in love with the MTG system. So I want to keep making Magic the Gathering content for D&D 5e. And all these old school Dominion ideas or different styles of play, like the Spelljammer book. This is all being inspired from the times I got to spend in the 80s and 90s playing 2nd edition, and then evolved from 3rd, 4th, now into 5th edition. I'm actually making books that harken back to these earlier editions, like 3rd, 2nd, 1st, Beckme editions, to bring those old systems and update them to be current for 5th edition. So all the things I loved about all the previous editions of D&D, I can collapse into mechanics that can be used in the 5e game engine. So that's what we've been going through, and all the books that we've published so far, leading from those earlier days forward into all these mechanics working for 5e. So check them out. They all have free previews. You're welcome to check them out. The Bastion system today, the playtest document that we use, it's Google Doc. I just clicked on it. It's going to be a read-only document for you. For me to publish something on the DMsGuild means I can't just give this stuff away for free. This is a very rough alpha format. We're going through the right now. We're going through the process of first draft. We've already got the mechanics for how the system works up and running, but I get to now go through the book and grab individual topics and clean up the language to get them ready. If I build out the book modularly, right? So hold on, I want to just fix my screens here real quick. If I build this modularly, what I'll be able to do is, let's see, there's the Bastion folder here with the actual Bastion system inside the DMG 5.5. Just gonna set that there, keep it out of the way. Yeah, the book it has a bunch of modular rules inside of it that, when you use them all together, creates the Bastion campaign. So I figure if I tackle the language of each individual subsection, at the end of it, I'll be able to see what's the proper order to arrange that information, so it's as easy for new people like yourself to digest this information and be able to potentially incorporate it into your own campaigns in the future. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to tackle a subject, and we're just going to grind out the text that goes into it. And if the section happens to already be written properly and we don't need to make any edits to it, then we'll just go ahead and mark that section off and move on to the next bit. So that's what we're going to be doing here for the next hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. We'll see what happens, and then I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue working on Eberron art. So thanks a lot for anyone that decides to stick around and check this stuff out. We built our rough scaffold of our table of contents. Front page cover art we'll be creating. Once the Eberron adventure completes, we'll start the book cover for this book. The introduction to what Bastions are. Bastion campaigns intro, and then tentatively the first thing we want to talk about is commanding a Bastion, and then Bastion ranks, issuing orders to Bastion, the Bastion dice that you get for making ability checks, to modify the die rolls that you make to resolve Bastion tasks, and then the actual process of Bastion checks using the dice from the orders issued. And then we have Bastion Points, which has a gold value depending on the rank of your Bastion. How you can expend. Let's go with accumulating. How about gaining Bastion points, and then expending Bastion points, which can be expended on installing or upgrading facilities. Bastion points can be expended to modify Bastion checks, and Bastion points can be spent to issue additional orders to the hirelings in your Bastion. And then the facilities themselves, the properties of facilities, the amount of space that facilities occupy, creating a Bastion map, your hirelings in your facilities, the orders that issuing, orders that can be, let's see, orders. And so each facility occupies a certain amount of space, has a certain number of hirelings, and can be issued various orders. So then the description of each facility lays out what that information is. And then actually using the facilities, you can either use your facilities to grant benefits to the facility or your bastion itself. You can use facilities to perform downtime activities as characters. Let's go with, facility benefits is the right word. And then you could also issue direct orders like establish a trade line, or craft an item, or empower a magic item, or research a spell. These are different orders that you can issue to facilities. We organize those. And then these facilities follow a duplicatable pattern of benefits and language that you can then use to create your own facilities. And then an extension from that is variant bastions. So there's franchises, which are like businesses, of subsidiaries that are like, we take control, like this bastion controls 5 other bastions, like this guild controls this city, this army, and these this merchant guild, and this plantation. Like these are the different facility, different types of bastions that can be commanded. And you can have like a settlement can have command of various facilities inside of the settlement, but can also be have businesses inside of the settlement separately as subsidiaries. Like the U.S. government, for example, is the actual bastion that oversees the community of United States, but it also has, like, for example, a partnership with the Philippines. It has a better example of that would be like Guam and Puerto Rico, which are protectorates inside the United States. So the government of the United States has a subsidiary government in both Guam and Puerto Rico, and those both have their own separate governments that oversee their territories as settlements. So there's this cascading effect of a higher rank bastion can issue orders to lower rank bastions as subsidiaries, and higher rank bastions are naturally larger in size, resource, and value than smaller subsidiaries. When a subsidiary grows in size to the point that it reaches the same size as its parent bastion, it can contest being a subsidiary and branch off and become its own entity. So you can have factions inside, like for example, the Christian church fractured between Protestants and Catholics. From a bastion perspective, the church was unable to prevent these factions from starting to grow inside of each other, but they were still underneath the Pope. So Rome, being the governing bastion of Christianity, had these subsidiary cathedrals in different nations through bishops and cardinals. And when one sect, the Protestants, grew so much in power that they could reach and rival the Catholic cathedrals, then they broke off and became their own separate religion, taking a ton of resources and territory with them, diminishing the capacity of the Catholic Church temporarily, while the Protestants established themselves as an independent sect. So like that's an example of how a subsidiary bastion can fracture off of and rebel against its parent organization. But if everything flows smoothly, they can be partners, or as long as they're a lower rank than the parent subsidiary, then they remain under their control or under their command. So and then characters can be the board or leaders or monarch or guild masters that control that bastion, their organization, but that could be a subsidiary of another bastion system. So you could have like a keep on the borderlands, could be, once you conquer it, become your bastion, but it's going to be part of Nibernay or whatever nation it is that fortress is in. That king then establishes, this is a fief inside of my kingdom. You now have control over that, but you're occasionally going to get orders from me that are going to become basically adventure seeds that you can use as a quest board. Hey, we need you to go check out this, check out these coordinates because the corporation wants you to go check it out. Oh, look, there's aliens there. So if this had been an adventure that you decided to go on, you would take your crawler and you'd go there and you'd find an enemy, a crashed spaceship. And it'd be full of a bunch of eggs, and you have this little short horror one shot where you're being chased and attacked by little creepy monsters that are popping out of eggs trying to grab your face. But if you had allocated that task to the NPCs, because you didn't deem checking that coordinate important enough to actually send your characters and make an adventure out of it, because you were, I don't know, fighting space pirates or some shit. You don't have time for eggs. You don't have time to check a coordinate because a corporation said go check on it. Because if you ask if you ask them why you're gonna look, the response is always the same. It's gonna be don't ask. So why would I bother my time with that? This is allocated to NPCs. I don't care what you find there. As far as I'm concerned, you can own all of it. So then you make your ability check through the Bastion with the NPC hirelings that you send off to scout that location, and they failed the die roll. So that vehicle, it's now calling for help. Something's gone horribly wrong, and when you bring them in, they have spiders stuck to their face, and then a couple weeks later, that entire facility goes dark. And then you pan out from there. That Bastion, that settlement that was terraforming that planet just got shut down. So now the Wayland Corporation, as a parent Bastion, overseeing and having command of that settlement, is now recruiting Space Marines to go in because the situation has escalated. It is now important enough to send adventurers in to explore what went wrong, why has it gone dark, and now you're playing the second movie of Aliens, right? So you could use the same structure if you wanted to play Free League. It's different. It's 5.5 mechanics, but it just takes some Euclidean dice and you clack them. The system can work basically with any role-playing game as long as you can establish a reason why there would be geopolitics or expansionism or leadership and settlements. These are all viable structures that you can use inside of this Bastion system. I'm just publishing it through D&D and 5e on the DMsGuild because I used to play these type of games in the 80s, and it's honestly a pretty big childhood fulfillment for me, bucket list, to be able to build books like this for D&D. Maybe once I finish all of these books, I'll take the ideas of these and build something different, like for Daggerheart or something. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a DCC version of this, or I'll do a Shadow Dark version of this. There's a lot of different things. Like the ideas of this system are, I think, pretty universal. It's just, I'm just expressing it through 5e because I love 5e and I want it to be better. And the Bastion system, the Bastions that they have in the DMG, I feel could just be so much more. So we built more. So that's what we're doing. Bastion time. Hell yeah, my dude. All right, so today, we've just been going through the table of contents here. My yes, 3E for the win. Right on, man. Yeah, I mean, totally. You could have, like, you would have Conan's Kingdom, and he's going to have war chiefs and, like, the Horde broken up into different territories. Each one of those territories can be subsidiary bastions that have their own allocation of points. Like, if it's a Horde, like a mobile Horde, like the Elves of Athos or whatever, that would be more of an army that could convert into a settlement. But the mechanics for the Bastion are the same, whether it's mobile or stationary. Franchises are corporate or organizational entities. Settlements are locations that are bound in space that can have facilities and additional bastions built inside of that territory. And then armies are strictly mobile bastions that they don't have a settlement. They don't have a lot of, like, they have to become stationary and locked down and basically unfurl to be able to use any of their facilities. Otherwise, they're mobile and on the road, except for if, like, you're using boats, like Spelljammer ships, pirate ships, whatever. They're big enough to have facilities inside of it and remain mobile. But if your army is on foot or on the wing, then they have to actually settle and take long rests to be able to unfurl and work on Bastion facility activities. Otherwise, they're mobile and in mobile combat mode. So yeah, we have an army and defense system that's built into this using the basic mechanics of the Bastion campaign NPC skill check type system for large scale warfare. So it's like a Beckme DCC Shadow Dark style of combat of low action economy, actions and movement on a daily or weekly turn that you could zoom in with characters at any time to be on the battlefield to influence a particular battle in the army's war campaign. But anytime you can just zoom out, it's like, yeah, the army needs to push northward. Meanwhile, we're going to clean out the Mines of Moria so goblins don't flank us while we're in combat with the orcs, for instance. Or we need to lock down the Twin Towers so we don't get flanked by Saruman when we start taking on the Eye. So we're going to send an adventuring team to clear out Saruman, and the rest of the army is going to push on towards Mount Doom. And we'll catch up with you on Eagleback once we're done with the Twin Towers. We'll just catch up with you. So like that's a way that you can narrate that as well. So that's what can be done with this system. Bastion turns, like deciding your turn frequency. I like to have a week per Bastion turn, but I mean, frequency can vary. Bastion events, random stuff that happens involving your Bastion that can shape the narrative of adventure hooks that can occur that week for you to randomly generate your campaign on a week-by-week basis. And then complications are failures when you issue a task to your Bastion that fails that fails the die roll, so it creates a complication. It doesn't fail, it gets stopped in progressing until the complication is resolved, which you could just allocate to a third party, or if the players think it's interesting, zoom in and make that there. Like, for example, the Twin Towers are off to the east. If we want to, or north of here, if we want to keep heading on to Mount Doom, we're going to have the tower flanking us with an evil archwizard. That needs to be shut down. Like that might be a significant enough threat that your players want to actually go crawl that tower and loot it for all its magical shit and shut down the Twin Towers and then go rejoin the army. But if they're actually looking forward to checking out the Mines of Moria on the way, instead of checking out the Wizard's Tower, they're going to dive into the mines to clear out the goblins so that they aren't a problem, and they're going to send NPCs to go shut down the Twin Towers. And if that goes sideways on them, then that could be your next adventure hook. But if they succeed, they are able to either militarily, financially, or ideologically shut down Saruman from being a threat to your team. Given what we know what the novels of Lord of the Rings were, it's combat. The Ents get involved and they basically shut down Saruman's ability to do anything. So like that would be an example of how the a Bastion army system could branch off and create different opportunities and adventure hooks in a progressive system. So, whoop. Hey, congratulations, no tsunami. Glad to hear it, my man. I'm in Seattle, and we have the shape of Seattle is the Puget Sound is built like this. So this negative space between my hands is water, but this is where the Pacific Ocean is, and it hits this peninsula that then curves in and creates the Puget Sound inside this space. British Columbia here is basically a J hook that you have to take to get into the Puget Sound. So it's rare that it'd be crazy for tsunamis to fuck us up back here because we have this entire Puget Sound, that the entire what is it called? The something peninsula. It's not the Washington Peninsula. It's I forgot the name of the peninsula. But there's a peninsula there that completely blocks all that violence from hitting us. So that's nice. Glad that you guys are safe as well. Bastion campaigns, crafting equipment, magic items, and materials. So one of the major components of the Bastion, like reason to have Bastions, is to create stuff. So we have a codified system that you can increase the quality, cost, or rarity of items as your Bastion gains rank in crafting and empowering, to be able to make mundane to make equipment and magic items, as well as like vehicles and siege weapons and stuff like that as well. And then the back page, like the back cover of the book, is advertisements. So front page cover to back page cover, back page advertisements. There you go. So that's all this stuff. When we touched back, when we were in last week on Monday, we were in earlier this week starting this endeavor on episode 1 of 51. We started with just the intro and started picking at the definition of bastions. So I want to zoom in closer and work specifically on the language of each of the individual components here to make sure that, because right now it's like bullet points and like ideas. I want to flesh that shit out to be cohesive sentences. So that's what we're going to spend some time here. And I am certainly open to conversation and tomfoolery as I go through that, because this is just, I love building books like this. They're a lot of fun. We finished we finally finished the Aether Academy art this morning. I posted that on my Discord channel if you want to see the final piece. I'm pretty happy about it. Everything could always be better, but I'm pretty happy with it. It's good enough for print. So I'm going to let that go, and we're going to build something. We're going to start something completely new tomorrow. So that's exciting. But if you're interested in seeing that stuff, or if you want to have conversations about the Bastion system, well, and I'm not live, my Discord channel is linked down below. Anyone is certainly invited to be there and ask questions, get involved, playtest this stuff. All the rules are here, even though you can't cut and paste them. It's just a read-only document right now. It's fully available here for anybody to use if they want. So, Bastion Ranks. Bastions can expand capabilities and grow in power similar to how characters gain levels. Let's see. If we say this instead, Bastions are organized into 5 ranks, corresponding to characters gaining higher proficiency bonuses as they gain levels. Bastion rank 1, character level 1, Bastion points 1 to 9. Second rank is equal to 5th level characters. And this is how many Bastion points you'll have at second rank. Third rank is equivalent to 9th level, and this is the amount of Bastion points that you'll have in that process. Fourth rank is equal to 13th level characters. You'll have 30 to 39 Bastion points. And then 5th rank Bastions, top rank, is equivalent to a 17th level character. Basically, like your ability the D20 tests that you make as a 5th rank Bastion are equal to or potentially better than what your character could do with a 17th level character could do themselves. So the Bastion at 5th rank is as competent in their craft as your character is at 17th level. And at that point, you'll have 40 or more Bastion points in your Bastion. And we'll talk about Bastion points next. So instead of gaining experience points to level up, Bastions expand by accumulating Bastion points, which can be expended to acquire new facilities, modify ability checks, and other options available to characters through the Bastions. This should actually be, I think, down here. Let's see. Let's remove that. Let's see, Bastion rank. Let's see. Let's go with topic of conversation: gaining ranks, gaining Bastion ranks. Let's start here. There's a couple different ways that we can gain ranks. Bastion upgrades. Bastion increases rank when characters gain levels, or Bastions grow. Bastions increase rank independently of any character adventuring. Those are basically the two formats. Those are basically the two ways to approach Bastions. So, how do we word? Gaining Bastion ranks. Ranks grow. Bastions increase ranks when they gain. Bastions increase ranks as they accumulate Bastion points, which is similar to renown, which is similar to accumulating, which is similar to characters gaining experience points, which is similar to characters gaining renown. That's probably the most accurate way of putting it. Let's see. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Bastions increase ranks as they accumulate Bastion Points, which is similar to as they accumulate Bastion Points as indicated in the table above. And the table, for now it says above, but eventually it'll probably be below or to the right, depending on how I format the book, which is similar to characters gaining renown. Bastion Points once a bastion, when a bastion has accumulated the listed number of points indicated when a bastion has accumulated the when a bastion has accumulated the listed number of points. That's not the right words. They accumulate Bastion Points as indicated on the table above, which is similar. Bastion increase ranks as they accumulate Bastion Points as indicated on the table above. Bastion Points can be gained in two gained in three ways. It's actually 3 ways. Bastion points are automatically gained when characters gain levels. Bastion points can be rewarded instead of or in addition to treasure. And Bastion points increase. Bastions can gain additional points how do I want to put it? Bastions can focus efforts. What am I trying to say? Bastions can gain points independently from characters through trade, through commerce, and warfare. So now we'll explore each of these points. Let's see. Bastion points are automatically gained. Let's see. What I want to give these. I want to give these clever little titles, but I don't know what those clever titles are yet. Let's go with which are automatically gained when characters gain levels. go with level-based bastions. Level-based rank. How about that? When characters gain, how do I want to word this? Characters, there we go. Characters gain a set number of Bastion points that can be allocated, that can be used to purchase, to acquire facilities to acquire bastions. How about that? Low base Bastion ranks. Characters can gain a set number of Bastion points at each level that can be used to acquire bastions, to acquire and upgrade, improve, to acquire and improve bastions. Level points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. One. 10. 7. 4. 1 point, then you gain 2 points, and you gain 3 points, and then you gain 3 points, and then you gain 3 points. That's cool. I want to be at 20 points. Oops. I want to be at 20 points at 9. I want to be at 30 points by 13. And I want to be at 40 points by 17. 40, 45, 50, 55. How about that? 40, and then we want to be at 36, 38, 33, 37, nope, 30. It should be more, huh? 37. Let's go with 34, 32. Is that a replicatable pattern that I like? So I can go 27 and 24 and 22 and then 20. And then 17 and 14 and 12. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Each level that can be used to acquire and improve bastions. Let's see, Bastion ranks. We need another topic of conversation, which is going to be, what are bastions? Great question, Kearney. What are bastions? We're going to save that for another day. Actually, that's kind of appropriate. Boop. Let's see. Bastions are organized into 5 ranks corresponding to characters similar to characters gaining levels, gaining higher proficiency bonuses as they gain levels. Let's see. Bastion die 1d4, 1d6, 1d8, 1d10, 1d12. Gaining Bastion ranks. Bastions increase rank as they accumulate Bastion points by accumulating Bastion points. Which is similar to characters gaining renown. Bastion points can be gained in 3 ways. Bastion points are automatically gained when characters gain levels. Level based. Equals a character gains Bastion points whenever you gain a level. Let's see. Reward based equals a character gains Bastion points as a reward instead of or in addition to treasure. During adventures instead of or in addition to treasure, period. And then what is this? Self. How about what would it be? Bastion based. No. Let's see. How do I want to list this? So level based is when a character gains Bastion points whenever you gain a level. Reward based is characters gain a character gains Bastion points as a reward during adventures instead of or in addition to treasure. And then there is self-funding. Self-gain equals Bastions can gain points independently from characters through commerce and warfare. There you go. Through commerce and conflict. I like that. Level-based bastions. Let's word it like that, as level-based bastions. That makes more sense, I think. Characters gain a set number of Bastion points at each level that can be used to acquire and improve bastions. The number of to acquire and improve bastions, level points. works. And we'll go level based, and we have reward based. Using this method, characters can combine their Bastion points at first level to establish a team Bastion during session 0 of the campaign, establishing a base, one or more bases of operation. The characters can use as safe locations to take long rests and perform downtime activity. At the start of Bastion points at first level to establish a team Bastion during session 0 of the campaign, to establish one or more bastions that the characters can use as for safe location. Characters can use to take long rests and perform downtime activities at the start of the campaign. Work. Discuss players and using this method, players and DMs should discuss what these how these Bastion points are used, how these Bastion points are used to establish during session 0. There we go. Using this method, players and DMs can discuss what Bastion how these Bastion points are used during session 0. Are used to ground the characters into the campaign setting during session 0. For example, if the characters, the team of 4 characters are starting their adventures in Waterdeep, they can pool their 4 Bastion points to establish a pub or other local business as the hub of adventuring in while in the city. To establish a first rank a rank 1 pub or other local business. A pub, smithy, a pub, comma, workshop, comma, or other local or other rank 1 pub, workshop, or other business as the hub of adventuring while in the city. There we go. That works. It'll work even better. No, it doesn't. If a team of characters, there, that resolves it. Okay, cool. So that was Zeus. Reward based. Reward based bastions. Characters. Characters gain a set number of Bastion points at each level that they can. Characters automatically gain a set number of Bastion points at each level. Gain a set number of Bastion points at each level that can be used to acquire and improve Bastions. The table below shows how many points each character has at any at each level. Reward-based bastions. How the sentence starts? In a campaign. There we go. In a campaign. In a world. In a campaign with reward-based bastions. In a campaign with reward-based bastions is how I was writing that. In a campaign with blah. Characters. Characters accumulate bastion points as treasure or rewards as treasure instead of bastion points. Let's see, characters accumulate bastion points similar to gaining treasure and magic items during adventures and quests. If hold on. By accumulating bastion points, the number of bastion points each rank each rank requires a number of points as indicated in the table above, which is similar to characters gaining similar to characters gain renown or experience points. Bastion points can be gained in 3 ways. When you have an amount of Bastion points No, that's good enough for now. Bastion points can be gained in 3 ways: level-based, reward-based. Let's see. Earned, that's not right. Rewarded, a level-based, reward-based. This last one, I'm trying to marry together purchasing points for gold as well as just generating more points through commerce and conflict. No, actually that'd be a subsidiary of reward-based. That makes sense. And then this would be self-acquired. Let's try that. Self-acquired. Bastions gain points independently from characters. Independently through commerce and conflict. There we go. Level base is good. Reward base is good. In a campaign with reward-based bastions, characters accumulate bastion points similar to gaining treasure and magic items during adventures and quests. Bastion points can also be purchased with gold that is earned from adventuring and quests instead. Can also be purchased with gold that is earned from adventuring and quests instead. One, two, three, four. Example. The value of a bastion, of each bastion point, the value of each bastion point is determined by the rank of bastion the bastion before by the rank of the bastion as indicated on the table above. Let's see. Bastion below. How about that instead? Let's go with below. For example, the king issues a quest to adventuring characters to clear orcs from an old keep on the edge on the borderlands. For example, the king issues the local king
issues a quest to adventuring characters to clear orcs from an old keep on the Borderlands. In addition, if the characters succeed, the king grants a deed to the keep for the characters to have as a bastion, and rewards 9 bastion points with it. If the characters then expend, then if during the adventure the characters gain 3,000 gold pieces, they can choose to spend 1,000 GP to gain a 10th Bastion point. To gain, a 10th Bastion point, increasing the rank of the keep, increasing the keep to rank 2. As a rank 1 bastion, period. There we go. Let's see. Rank. Bastion. Rank. Bastion. Points. Point. Gold. Point. Value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 plus. Point value, 100 GP each, up to 900, 100 gold pieces each, 1,000 GP each, 10,000 GP each, 100,000 GP each, 1 million GP each. See how it is? 1 point is 100 points. 9 is 900. If you have 9 points total in your bastion, it's worth 900 gold. When you have 10 points, it's worth 1,000 gold pieces, and 19 points is worth 19,000 gold pieces. When you get to 20 points, they're now worth 10,000 gold each, and it ramps up to 19,000 gold. 10 to 9, that's 9,000 gold, and then from 20 to 29, it starts at 10,000 at 20 points, and it gets to 19,000 with 29 points, and then you get to 1 to 900, 1,000 to 9,000, 10,000 to 90,000. Thank you. When you get to 30 Bastion points, it's worth 100,000 points. And then 39 is up to 900,000 gold piece. And then at 40 plus, each point is worth 1 million. So you're basically, it's like 1 to 10. But when you get to 10, it's 1,000, right? So 1 to 10 times 100 is 1,000 at 10. And then it gets to 9,000 with 19. And then another point, it's now 10,000 gold. So there's this bump. You're working in hundreds. And as soon as you get that, as soon as you want that 10th point, it's worth 1,000. So you've spent 900 gold to get up to 9 points, and now you're spending 1,000 gold to get to 10, and to get to 11 points, you now have to spend 2,000 gold. To get 12 points, you have to spend a total of 3,000 gold, up to 9,000 gold at 19, and then it flips to 9,000 at 19, and then it flips to another 1,000 points equals 10,000 gold. So it keeps. They choose to spend 1,000. Let's see, rewards 9 Bastion points worth 900 GP as a rank 1 Bastion. If during the adventure the characters gain 500 gold, they can choose to spend 100 GP to gain a 10th Bastion point. Let's go with they gain, let's go with 3,000 gold. So they gain 3,000 gold. They can choose to spend 100 to gain a 10th Bastion points, increasing the rank, the keep to rank 2, and 1,000 GP more to gain an 11th Bastion point. There you go. There, that should serve. Let's create a little bit of gap there. Gap. And then we'll go with self-acquired. Self-funded. Let's call it that. Let's call it self-funded. So self-funded bastions. There. In a campaign with self-funded bastions. Characters. In a campaign with self-funded bastions, the hirelings can be issued orders to accumulate Can be issued orders to trade or buy. To trade or buy points from goods and services produced by the Bastion, or they can perform acts of sabotage and warfare to steal resources, to steal Bastion points from other Bastions. 1, 2, 3. For example, if a Bastion is, let's do it like this. For example, a Bastion with what am I trying to say? What's a good way of expressing this? For example, a Bastion with let's do it like this. For example, a Thieves Guild Bastion. For example, a Thieves Guild Bastion can perform robberies from other, for example, Xanathar's Thieves Guild in Waterdeep is a Bastion with a spy network and saboteurs that can be issued orders to extort local businesses in the city the bounty. What's the word I want? The treasure. The racket. Creates one additional the racket, when successful, issuing this order, when successful, creates rewards, one or more Bastion points that Xanathar can then use to improve guild facilities, issue additional orders to members in the guild, or expend them to improve the D20 tests the Bastion to improve the results of Bastion, improve the results of D20 tests there. or expend them to improve the results of hireling D20 tests while when issued. To succeed at the orders they're issued. They've been to succeed at the orders issued. To succeed yeah, I think that works. Another fun benefit of publishing on the DMs Guild is that I get to reference things like Xanathar, Keep on the Borderland, Ravnica, Theros. These are campaign IPs that I have access to on the DMs Guild. That helps. Examples like these helps fold this into the world, like starting your team in Waterdeep. Like that's what is that? Waterdeep Heist? Is that what it's called? Or being issued the Keep on Keep of the Borderlands. We're about to have the Keep of the Borderlands starter box set be published. So that's going to be something that new people to the hobby are going to potentially acquire to play, and this provides a framework for not only did you succeed at that adventure, but now you actually have control of that keep. Just like in Beckme, when they created Keep of the Borderlands, the result of you taking control of the keep means that you've now established that as your bastion, and now you can start hex crawling, explore the caves of chaos, and all the wilderness beyond that to start expanding your territory to gain more influence and more bastion points as your characters level up. Let's go with let's see. And 3 can be gained through 3 methods. And now we'll have blending methods. The campaign is not limited to one style, or not. A campaign is not limited. A DM can decide how many of these methods can be used to gain Bastion points in a campaign. The level-based method I like that word, method. Self-funded method. Reward-based. Level-based. A DM can decide how many of these methods can be used to gain Bastion points in a campaign. The level-based method automatically accumulates points as the characters gain more power using other methods along with level-based bastions will result in the bastion outpacing the growth of characters. Automatically accumulates points as the characters gain more power. Comma. But using other methods with level-based bastions will result in the bastion outpacing the growth of the characters. Outranking the level of the characters. The reward-based method provides the reward-based method allows characters to spend vast amounts of gold to increase the number of Bastion points to increase the rank of a Bastion, but is dependent on the DM providing rewards and a location, somebody, and let's see, but is dependent on the DM. The reward-based method allows characters to spend vast amounts of gold to increase the rank of a Bastion, but it depends. But the DM must provide sufficient treasure to spend on points and someone in the campaign able to exchange the gold for Bastion points. But the DM must provide sufficient treasure to spend on points, must provide enough treasure and someone with whom to spend, and someone who can and a means of providing Bastion points in exchange for gold. Otherwise, let's see, but the DM must provide quest givers that can reward Bastion points or provide enough treasure in adventures to purchase the points with gold. Next, the self-acquired method allows characters to issue orders to bastions The self-acquired method allows a bastion to grow in rank over time, independently of what the characters do or acquire. But the Bastion can but the Bastion can outrank the levels of the characters and the DM and the campaign must have enough bastions NPC and the campaign must have bastions integrated into the narrative of the and bastions must and there we go, yeah, and NPC bastions must be integrated into the campaign for the characters Bastion to accumulate points from, which must be present in the campaign for the characters Bastion to interact with and accumulate points from. There we go. So that's integrating the points, multiple points together. I feel like there was another topic inside here that I wanted to add. Give me a second. Maybe I'll think of it. It was just there. It was just formulating. It just blipped from my mind. Blending methods. Oh well. So let's just move on. Bastion points. Bastions gain Bastion points. Bastion Points can be while a Bastion's rank is determined by the number of Bastion Points accumulated Oh, that was it. Multiple bastions. That's what the topic was. In a campaign, that uses a Bastion campaign characters shared and multiple bastions. Multiple and shared bastions. Characters can pool their characters can combine their bastion points to establish a shared bastion, or they can use their bastion points independently, establishing unique bastions for each character. Characters can have similarly, characters can establish multiple bastions. Take your time with timer. Can establish multiple bastions. Can establish and improve and share multiple bastions. The only qualifier for establishing a bastion is to each bastion requires a minimum of 1 bastion point. Yeah, that's probably good enough. Let's see, bastion points. When a bastion's rank, while a bastion's rank is determined by the number of bastion points accumulated, bastion. How do I want to word this? They're both like they're like mana. They're like spell points. And they're like bardic inspiration dice. So you can spend bastion points in a number of different ways. By maintaining concentration and tapping a number of bastion points, you can establish, or you can create a facility inside your bastion. Similarly, you can just leave a pool of bastion points unspent that can be used to modify die rolls or to issue extra orders, blah blah blah. I think I have that mentioned up here somewhere. Hold on. Again, if you want to check out this document, it is in the notes down below. It's a read-only document. This is just the rough draft, but you can read the entire thing here. And if you're interested in implementing it into your own campaign, or just replacing the rules of the Bastions in the DMG 2024 with this supplement,
There's also a link down below to join my Discord server. You are welcome to do so, and I am happy to work with you and answer any questions and get your feedback. Excuse me for a second. My seat's all screwed up. There. I'll be running an XCOM 2 style Spelljammer campaign in the new year using the Bastion system. It's going to be a modified Storm King's Thunder, where instead of having the Storm King's flying castle going from city to city fighting dragons, it's going to be a dwarven citadel in wild space that's going to be flying from asteroid community to asteroid community in wild space, fending off mega kaiju and pirate invasions from attacking those communities. And in addition to that, each community is its own settlement, which is a type of bastion. And the dwarven citadel flying fortress is also a literal bastion that, as your characters accumulate points either through rewards for defending different asteroid communities or just becoming productive or going on other adventures, accumulating points using the reward method, the reward-based method of gaining points by going on adventures, and also the self-funded method of establishing trade routes with these different asteroid communities. The characters can start accumulating Bastion points and creating bastions. Like the Dwarven Citadel can become like a mecha factory for producing war golems and modifying and making their war golems more complicated or higher ranked to fight bigger and more difficult kaiju as they gain levels, to establish different resources and things that are being harvested from the different asteroid communities, or to establish trade lines with between different asteroid communities through your Dwarven Citadel, transporting those goods back and forth between these communities. So we can really use the Bastion system in this closed XCOM 2 style Storm King's Thunder wild space crawl system. I think it's going to be a fun playtest. It'll probably be like a 4-month campaign or something like that, just to kick around a little bit and have some fun. But it's going to be a procedurally generated campaign where each week the characters are going to decide, which asteroid community are we going to defend, or if able to establish trade with to expand their strength and to prepare themselves for kaiju attacks. So there'll be a random encounter. Each bastion turn will be a week. There'll be a random encounter roll each week to see, is a kaiju attacking an asteroid community or not. And there could be multiple attacks, and you can only be at one place at a time. So you have to choose which community you want to defend from kaiju attack. And if we're successful in that combat encounter of using your war golems to fight off mega kaiju, you protect the community, and then you gain like a bastion point as a reward, as a protection fee for protecting that asteroid from kaiju. If you have 2 kaiju attacks and you only take care of one of them, and the other one gets smashed, you can no longer gain resources from that asteroid community until it's repaired, which may require you to spend time there to fix it because you couldn't be there to prevent the problem. You now have to go there to fix the problem, and that ties up your time. So you're able to protect this one from attack, but now you have to spend time over here helping them recover from the attack. And then you can then start free roaming, trade and stuff like that, or blah, blah, blah. And each week we'll have the chance to have an adventure, and then the fallout from that adventure. So we'll be testing War Golem versus Mega Kaiju in communities. And then we'll also be using the progressive style of the Bastion campaign itself to, once the adventure is over and the Bastion turn ends, a new turn rolls over, and now we see how many events are happening across the communities, how many of them are hostile, how many of them are trade opportunities, or what kind of events are occurring that we can make use of. And then the team will decide which one of these opportunities do they want to make an adventure out of, choose that one, and then the rest of them they have to let go. And whatever fallout happens as a result of the things that they skipped, they could use those to become their next nugget of adventure. And they could, like, at any time opt to roll a new event to start queuing things up. It was like, no, we got like 5 or 6 things going on. Instead of us rolling more potential events, how about we just try to resolve this stuff? Then it would just be a random encounter table that would roll like either you kaiju attacked anyway and you have to deal with it, or no attack this week, you're now free to clean up, and catch up on running your place. And then we could potentially go through like 3 or 4 Bastion turns before a new kaiju attack occurs, and now suddenly your team activates and you have to go deal with that as a combat encounter. And then it slides back again to geopolitical trades, making agreements with different communities, looking for opportunities for you to expand. Like, it'd be great to have an extra 5 points in our Bastions so that we could get our mecha facility up to snuff, so that we can start integrating like magical like defense generators to create more damage reduction for our mecha when they're fighting kaiju or whatever. We're gonna build it out, so that'll be a fun play test for both the mega kaiju, war golem, and the Bastion campaign as a Spelljammer supplement. So, and then we can focus on, and then when we roll through that campaign for a few months, we'll get the gist of it, and then we can take this Bastion campaign idea and then drop it into Storm King's Thunder Wild Space, or whatever. However we decided to, if we decide to go on and actually make a thing out of it, that's what we could do. But playtesting the thing helps lock down the mechanics of stuff to make sure that it works. And just being able to take existing content from D&D and demonstrate how these ideas can be implemented in those campaigns just helps further reinforce the viability of the supplement that we're creating. Like, this actually can impact your game and change the flavor of it to become a more immersive experience. So that's the idea. So blending methods, self-funded blending methods, and then multiple and shared bastions. Okay, Bastion Points. So while a Bastion Points are used to in addition, that's using a preposition as a starting of a statement is not necessarily a very good sentence. Bastion Points are used to increase the rank of existing bastions, but are accumulating Bastion Points. How am I supposed to word this stuff, Accumulating Bastion Points not only Bastion Points Bastion Points can be used. This is why we hire an editor. Bastion Points can be used for multiple purposes. In accumulating Bastion Points not only determines the rank of the Bastion, but they can be used to improve to not only determine the rank of a Bastion, but they can also to acquire and improve facilities, issue orders, and modify D20 tests the Bastion makes independent of any character involved of characters.
rank. Bastion Points. Bastion Point gold value. Let's try it like this. Bastion Points, Bastion die. Orders issued. Example. Two, three, 4, 5, 6. Shoe shop. Frontier outpost. Gem mine. Rock of Brawl. Boros Legion. House Cannith. Waterdeep. There we go. Pirate fleet. Rock of Brawl. Gem mine. Let's see. What's another example of a third rank something, 9th level? Let's see. Gem mine operation. Frontier outpost. Small shoe shop. Let's go with village shoe shop. Frontier outpost. Something else. How about like a town library, frontier outpost, a frontier. No, let's go. Noble's Castle. Or Gem Mine Operation. That feels good. Pirate Keep, Rock of Brawl. Yeah, that feels like good examples. Those feel good. Town Library. Small Village. Yeah, that feels okay. And there. How are we doing on time? Okay. Oof, we're almost out of time. You know what? Honestly, this is probably a good place to stop. How about I do the game design like this on Mondays and Thursday nights and Tuesday and Friday lunches, which means we're going to come back tomorrow at lunch and work on this some more. So if you want to get a heads up alert, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you can get notification when I go live, and you can jump in. But we're going to. I think that's a good way to establish and start with fleshing out the language for how the Bastion ranks work, and then now we know that we're accumulating points for the ranks to increase our rank. We probably want to make mention of Bastion points, cool, and then we'll have Bastion die, and we have orders issued, Bastion points. We probably want to put, honestly, orders. Orders per turn. Bastion die. Examples of bastions. So we talked about the rank, which is equivalent to levels. We already talked about that here. Next, we're going to talk about our Bastion points, and then we're going to and then in the following section we're going to talk about two. Come on, baby. Let's get this fixed, y'all. 3, 4, 5, 6. One D4, 1D6, 1D8. I mean, I can just do it like this. There you go, Kearney. Now you're thinking with portals. Cool. So yeah, we're going to talk about Bastion points next. And then we'll talk about orders. We're gonna so between Bastion points and talking about orders, we're gonna talk about facilities. Maybe we'll talk about like what orders are. So we're establishing what Bastion points are and how to use them next. That's what we'll do tomorrow and probably on Monday. And then next we'll talk about issuing orders and what kind of orders. I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole with that. I think I want to describe. I think I want to describe facilities first. You acquire facilities with there you go. You use Bastion points, and with Bastion points you acquire facilities, and then through facilities you issue orders. And through orders issued, you make D20 tests, which use the Bastion die as a proficiency die to have more variables in success and failure. And then at the back end, we're going to build different Bastions as examples. So this table here is actually logically flowing through in order the different sections of the book that we want to outline. That's actually really fucking perfect. It's actually really fucking perfect. Okay, cool. So that's our game plan. That's what we're going. Oh, so when we get back in on this tomorrow afternoon, we will start diving into what Bastion points are and how you can use them. And then we'll talk about each, and then we'll get into each individual facility and how the facilities work, size of facilities, unique facilities, all the properties of facilities, and then examples of a whole bunch of types of facilities. And then at the end of the facilities, we're going to have a section on how to create unique facilities for your Bastion campaign. Since all of these follow a specific format with different types of benefits between facility benefits, downtime activities, and orders that can be issued, there's these three components that each facility can make use of, and we have a matrix of how these things are used. So we can then explain what that matrix is, so that, like, there was somebody on Discord or on Reddit that was asking, hey, I want to use the Bastion campaign, but I'm in the Feywild and we're not using any gold there. How can I do this? And you could use Renown instead of gold, using accumulated Renown points. It corresponds to the amount of Bastion points your character has, converting directly from Renown into Bastion points that can then be spent through influence, social engagements, and favors owed to the Fey Kingdom to create your Bastion and maintain it through favors and obligations that you establish. And you can make role-playing events out of each of those things if you wanted to, and they could have gold piece values of engagement that then has a direct translation into the cost of Bastion points. So, like, you gaining a favor from the Queen of the Winter might be worth 100,000 gold, but you won't even have a chance of accomplishing a favor she's interested in until your 13th level. So now you're going down the line of hierarchy towards lower tier dukes and earls within the court, to be dealing with, like, this low end shit that your 5th level characters are a high enough level to pursue as a goal. And as you continue to gain renown with the Seelie or Unseelie court, you accumulate more favor, and that favor gets translated into Bastion points, which can then be accumulated to force or to cash in favors in the Fey Kingdom. It's like, hey, I want you to make this magical leaf armor. That's effectively establishing an power order to pixie crafters to make leaf armor for you, for example, as just a random ass example. But you could totally run a favor based campaign that doesn't have any gold at all by assigning a value of the task that you're performing for them that then can be directly translated into, this is worth 3 Bastion points at this rank, or it's worth, like, it's only a second rank favor, so if you pull it off, it's only going to be worth like 3,000 gold. And if I'm operating at the 4th rank and I need 100,000 gold to gain 1 point, this is a paltry fucking favor. I don't see a big gain from that. Tell you what, I'll do what you want, but I'm going to change my reward on you, and I'm going to take your firstborn son or whatever. It's like, well, that's going to be a prince. It's like, well, great, that prince is going to have access to a lot of resources. That's perfect for me. Do it. Now you're talking Rumpelstiltskin or something. So, a very Fey style quest, but you can see how you can manipulate these mechanics to be able to lean into different geopolitical situations, whether it's commerce-based, favor-based, honor or renown-based, piety with gods. If you're playing a planar campaign in the Great Wheel, where you're dealing with gods, you're brokering deals with gods, or like in a Theros campaign where you're brokering deals between gods and leveraging experiences. There's a lot of different ways to play with it, but it's a lot of fun. So hopefully, if we build this right, we'll be able to walk through and look at those different types of formats so that you can build different types of campaigns hinging around this idea of Bastion campaigns. So tomorrow, we'll work on Bastion points. We'll probably finish up Bastion points or be working on facilities on Monday. And we're just going to keep pushing through the book until we get to the end of it.
And when we do, I'll probably hire an editor or maybe a co-writer to make all the connective tissue, to connect all the different sections of the book into one coherent piece that flows naturally. And then when we get it back, we'll probably be done with the Eberron adventure at that point, and we can start building up this book, doing the artwork in the mornings, and actually like doing page layouts and stuff like that in the evenings, and just roll into this just like we've been doing with the Eberron adventure. Just roll into this and just keep moving. So that's the idea. So hey, thanks a lot, guys, for hanging out with me. If you think this stuff is cool, I'm going to be working on this probably for the next few months. Monday, Thursday nights, Tuesday, Friday lunches, and then as always, I do artwork in the morning, Monday through Friday, for whatever book is going to publish next. In this instance, I'm working on that Eberron adventure for 7th and 8th level characters. So once that gets finished, we'll start doing artwork, like the book cover for this, and hopefully layouts, and start building all the stuff to actually build that book. And we'll probably spend the next 6 months to a year making all the artwork for the Bastion campaign book. So if you want to get a piece of this, it's linked down below. It's read-only. My Discord channel is also down below that you're welcome to join and ask questions about this and get involved in any kind of playtesting if you want to try implementing these rules into your own campaigns. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you in the morning. Bye.